Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another interview here on Granbury TV. Today is March the 9th, 2012, and I'm here with Andrew Barris from the Granbury Theater Company, and appreciate you coming in today to let people in Hood County know a little bit about yourself and about your company.
Well, it's great to be here. Pleasure to sit down with you.
Well, now, for those of you who do not know who Andrew is, Andrew, I want to give you a little bit about your background. Tell us about where you've been and where you're coming from.
Sure. Well, I grew up in Salt Lake City. My parents owned a theater business while I was growing up, so I grew up on stage. 5 years old, I was doing all sorts of crazy small parts. I think I auditioned for Annie the first time, and you know, we had a good time with that. And then eventually, they with their theater business, as I started to grow, I started getting both sides of it: backstage, front stage, and you know, then start growing and doing some lighting, doing some sound, then directing some shows, all at a very local, level, and got the bug of it, right, as you do. And so, you know what, decided that might be what I wanted to do. Actually, I went in to do some history at Utah State University because I wanted to, at that point, do anything I could to get away from the theater business, right? But the bug kept me back into it, and so I ended up, being a part of organizations for the last period of time since then. I've been working recently with on the ships. I've been working with Princess Cruise Lines as a production manager for them. Before that, I was in China with Cirque du Soleil, and putting on different shows with Cirque has been a very interesting and really rewarding endeavor. But you know what? It's nice to get back to the States, first of all.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Dry land.
I'll tell you what, you go through some of those monsoons in Southeast Asia.
Not fun.
These, from time to time, we had, on Friday, I think of last week, we had a little bit of a downpour. That's basically what it was like for 3 months of the year. So it's nice to get back to something I'm more familiar with. It's nice to get back to family. My parents live over in Cleburne. My brother owns the theater over there, the Plaza Theater.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, it's nice to be back around again.
I'll tell you, when you grow up in the theater and you get the range of everything that has to be done in the theater, it really gives you a good solid foundation about what everything is all about and what it takes to put on a very good production.
Oh, it's a big piece of the pie. It makes sense because if you just look at it from an actor's perspective, then that's all you're going to get. From a director's perspective, that's all you get. But once you understand the entire pie, right, you can start to see things a little bit more reasonably, which is a good way to approach it.
It also makes you a good boss. What I found is that folks that grow up in a business and they learn from, mopping the floor to, paying the bills,
sure,
you learn every aspect of it, and you appreciate everybody that's in there. So I feel like it makes you a good boss.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, you know their plight. You've done the same things they're doing at that point, and I agree with that. Yeah,
absolutely. Now tell us about, and I'm very excited about this, the Granbury Theater Company, what it entails, and the fact that the Opera House right now, even though it's dark, going over the construction phase, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, there is still some live entertainment going on here in Granbury, Texas.
Oh, you betcha. That was a key focus. We wanted to make sure that, there still was a lot of stuff that was going on here. We didn't want that, tourism season to come and go without having live entertainment. We know that this is an economic driver, right? And we understand that and respect that. I want to make sure that we provide the entertainment that's necessary to continue to feed forward and make sure that our organization is solvent and, sustainable long term. Even though the Opera House is down, and I'm glad, that there's been some time. I mean, I certainly wish that it'd be a little bit quicker, but that's how these things go from time to time. I'm glad we're doing it the right way. Things are, T's are crossed and I's are dotted, and at the end of the day, it's going to be a beautiful facility. But in the meantime, yeah, we've got shows that are coming up. We've got a lot of stuff, events on their way that I think will sustain us up until that period of time. When we can get back into the Opera House and work a consistent programming schedule that we believe in. We do have, the next one that we've got coming up is 1776.
Yes.
Right, and we're excited about this. I love the history of the Revolutionary War and everything that took place during that period of time. Those gentlemen must have been so courageous, in the face of who knows what.
Oh.
To make those kinds of decisions for the benefit of our country. So I'm thrilled to do the show. I've done the show a few times. We've been afforded the phenomenal opportunity of doing the show in the courthouse at this point, which I think is stunning. If you look at the way that the architectural layout is at Independence Hall, back the way it was back in the day, and with the way that our courthouse looks today, it's strikingly similar.
Very similar.
And we found a way. There are 164 seats inside that facility, and we're going to address some of the acoustic issues to make sure that works for the show. But we couldn't be happier. I mean, it's the right period of time for it. We're doing it, we start on June 22nd, and that's a Friday night. We close on the 7th of July, so that means we have 2 performances on July 4th.
Oh, wow.
Which I think would be splendid. I was watching it the other night, and to get the idea that we could be doing that show in the courthouse on the 4th of July just seemed pretty cool to me.
I mean, from a viewer's perspective, if you were going to go see a play or a live performance during that period of time, July 4th, and just in that general realm of time, what better place to go see that than at the courthouse and live theater? I mean, bring your kids.
Bring your kids, yeah. Come and get the history of that. Not only, the show is splendid, and I really believe in the show. I think it's going to, it tells a great story, obviously. Mm-hmm. But moreover, I'm not sure that everybody's had a chance to get inside that newly renovated courthouse. Oh. And it is a terrific facility. What they've done inside there is just beautiful. The ceiling now is up at 36 feet. There's no more drop-down stuff, and it's fantastic. Right, so we're very happy that they've offered us that opportunity. We've been working in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce. We feel like that whole event, because they're starting, on what this the fireworks end up being on the Sunday evening, right? As opposed to being on the 4th of July this time. So it presented some challenges as far as making sure that we could sustain that entire week. And I think the Chamber's done a very nice job in making enough events. And we're happy to be a part of that. We feel like the flow is going to be good we'll do our performance at 3:30 on the 4th of July. Of course, there'll be a lot of people on the square. And then, once we'll do our 7 o'clock performance, that's finished up. Then we're going to have some laser show that takes place on the courthouse itself, on its facade. So we feel like the whole night's going to be a good night.
It's going to be a very special night, and you'll want to be sure to be a part of it. That is for sure. Now, how thrilled are you? The renovation's going on. You've got to be super thrilled that you are actually going to be operating in a very historic area. This opera house, the oldest opera house west of the Mississippi, from what I was told. It's a very special place. Yeah. And tell us about some of the exciting things we're going to see in the new opera house.
Well, it's got so much going for it, right? I mean, it just oozes of charm. I'd mentioned that I was working in China with Cirque du Soleil, and we made a facility that was $400 million as a purpose-built facility for our show. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter how much money you spend on something. Charm is a very difficult thing to buy, and this facility has that thing in spades. So we wanted to make sure in the renovation that we kept that, right? No matter what was happening, the charm of the facility, the intimacy of it, was going to remain, and I hope that's the case. We've done our best to make sure that is. But going forward, we wanted to make sure that we also had the capabilities of doing some of these bigger shows in the future, which meant expanding some of the space. So we now have wing space that's available, whereas before there wasn't. We have depth of stage, twice as much as it was before, so that's going to be helpful in doing these bigger shows. We've also got a fly system that's going to be fully functional. New lighting, new sound, new curtains, all these kinds of things, which will help to facilitate doing those kinds of shows that we would really think were going to be spectacular in there, while keeping the small, intimate feel that we've had of the past.
And we're going to have some shows that you would not be ashamed to bring the grandkids to the grandpa at.
Yeah, we're a family-friendly theater, not only from the standpoint of content, but we also feel that we're family-friendly from the pocketbook side of things, right? We want to make sure, I don't think that theater is an elitist art form. I think that it should be for the masses, and I want to make sure we can get as many people in as possible, and that comes down to dollars and cents.
Absolutely. Right,
and content too. We believe that we don't want to alienate a certain group of people because we're putting on something as far as the way we dress or the way we speak that's going to really offend people, right? That's a big deal to me. So, yeah, those are two important parts of the company.
Absolutely. And one thing that just recently happened that I'm very, very excited about is the 501c3. Now, this is going to allow y'all a lot of flexibility.
Sure. And
really take a lot of ease off of y'all. Explain what that is to the masses and how that benefits a company like yourselves.
Well, it's the only way to go, right? I mean, I believe that I wanted to open an organization that was nonprofit, that was from the community, for the community. And because I want involvement, right? I mean, I love the idea of people, building something together as opposed to, me building it myself. That made no sense to me. In order to do that, you really need to have a 501c3, and that status simply means that you're capable of accepting outside development money, donations, foundation monies, etc. And so, we certainly are going to be a part of that. Our goal as an organization is to be at a 60-40% clip, meaning there will be 60% box office and then 40% development. That affords us that opportunity, having that status from the IRS where we're a tax-free organization. So if you do make a donation to the organization, then of course you get a tax break at the end of the day on your taxes. And that's how these kinds of organizations are set up. It's the only way to go. It's no small thing, to be honest with you. I mean, I'd worked with the tax attorney for a while to get this done, and you kind of, chew and bite in your fingernails, hoping that it's going to get finished up. But it finally did a few weeks ago, and we couldn't be happier.
Oh, I'm telling you, it is a big, huge thing, because the one thing you don't want to do is spend a lot of money on this building and then have to just nickel and dime everything.
Absolutely.
And have the stress there. With this, it gives you a lot more flexibility.
A lot more flexibility.
And really opens up a lot of different things. Now, we've said a lot about it. If somebody's out there and they go, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to get up there on the ground floor. There's ways you can contact the box office. Is 817-579-0952. And your web address is granburytheatercompany.org.
You got it.
And we'll put that up on the screen so everybody can see it, because theater is also spelled a little differently.
With the R-E. Yep.
It's the R-E. They also have a Facebook page. And,
We do.
Everybody's into social media.
They are.
And if you haven't liked them yet, you need to do so. And
get on there. It's Granbury Theater Company is where you'll find it.
Granbury
And like us. And it's really, we've kept a good preserved archive of what's going on as far as the construction of the facility.
Right.
We wanted to make sure that we had good photo documentation of back when the Quonset hut was part of reality, and going forward now when we've done with the asbestos abatement, we ended up getting rid of a lot of the sheetrock, so that's all down right now. The south wall eventually is going to come down where the expansion happens. We're going to take photos of all of that. So we wanted to chronicle this thing, or historically, to make sure it's for the public record eventually.
If I have a photo, it just came to me. I have a photo of me getting makeup applied in the Quonset hut, doing
great.
the Diary of Anne Frank. And so I'm going to get you that photo, and I expect to see it on the wall.
I would love that. That'd be great.
It's really good. It was we actually won. It was a production that I did in high school, and we won first place.
Perfect.
And
that's a good show too.
It was a good show.
Yeah,
Very
worth
good show.
telling.
I was Mr. Von Dam. So
Mr. Von Dam. No, not a good guy.
Of course, season ticket prices. Y'all had y'all season ticket launch.
We did, yes.
Tell us about that event, and how thrilled were you with the turnout? It was good.
Yeah, I was very happy. We had a lot of support from the city. First of all, we were able to get into the conference center. The staff at the conference center was tremendous. Patricia and her team just couldn't have been more spot on. We worked with Cutter and his team from Joe's Pasta and Pizza, and they did, all of the work from the dinner side of things, and their catering staff was just tremendous. We wanted to launch ourselves into the community, is really what it came down to. We'd started our season ticket sales, but when it came down to it, nobody had ever seen a show that we'd ever done. We didn't know when the Opera House was going to be finished, and we didn't know what our season was going to be, yet people continued to buy tickets, right? And we figured, well, you know what, let's throw them a bone and put on a show so they can kind of see what they're buying into. And we were thrilled. We were really pleased with the talent, with the turnout. The show ended up being pretty much exactly what I wanted it to be. So, we're officially launched now out in the community, and we're excited to get going on our second show, 1776.
It's going to be good, and you can get those. You can get season ticket price information. You can get show information. You can get all that information there at the Facebook page that we talked about. Also, the web address. Of course, you can call the box office anytime. Somebody will always answer.
They'll answer,
and that sort of thing. Coming from a different area and moving into Granbury, and seeing all the people. You mentioned a couple of the people that helped you during the launch. Isn't it comforting to know that you're in a community where people will actually lend out that hand? Oh,
it's insane. It's amazing how, first of all, friendly, by and large, Texans are all together, right? I mean, that's an amazing thing. And secondly, people are very, very helpful, right? They know that this probably needs to work, right? And I understand that. The nice thing is in the past, they've seen that it was, so successful that it made a lot of sense. It made differences on the square and economically, etc. But beyond that, I think that they're just doing it because they love the cultural arts and they want to see this thing go forward. So I can't be more pleased with the support we've got. We've got a phenomenal board of directors, which I'm very, very happy with. I've tried to create an organization that's a top-down organization that has, strong leadership up front. And, we've got 8 board of directors at this point that I'm very confident with. Also, the Opera Guild is an organization that's been around since 1975, right? And they are just terrific. They've helped me put up, who knows what, they wash walls and they help us hang up all the costumes and, they help us usher different events and they couldn't be better. And I'm very, very anxious to get there. We're going to do a drive for them to try to continue to build that organization's numbers. So all of it just funnels back down and confluence into people wanting this thing to succeed, and I just couldn't be happier.
Absolutely. It's a big time. I'm very, very excited about it. Well, yeah. Andrew, I'm going to give you just a few seconds. Look in that camera right there and tell Hood County and everybody else that's watching this what you want them to know about the Granbury Theater Company and what's going on here in Granbury, Texas.
Sure. Well, thank you for the opportunity. We are so thrilled to be here. It just couldn't be a better place to be. We've been so warmly accepted into Granbury, and we want you to come back to the Opera House. We know what this thing can do in here, and I can't wait to get it rolling again. In the meantime, before the Opera House is finished on December 1st, we've got 3 different performances that we're going to do. This first one being 1776. Come out, come and see the show. Come and see the wonderful courtroom and the courthouse that's recently renovated, and come and see our next production of Forever Plaid, and then we're going to do 12 Angry Men. Come and see all our shows. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody, and we're just thrilled to be here.
And just before I let you go, I want to let you know, you told me there's a casting call this Saturday, and I'll tell you, either Ryan Reynolds or myself, and we're really close to, the same person.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Either one of us will show up for that, okay? Sound good?
Well, absolutely. I can't wait.
You look forward to that, don't you?
Look forward to it.
Well, we look forward to seeing you again right here on Granbury TV.